in the 80s.
Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Is your computer plugged up to a power source?
Yes.
Because it's glitching a little bit. I just want to make sure that everything's good. But keep going because the audio is perfect.
Okay. No, we're just
sorry.
making sure everything is good. Maybe there's a meteorite coming over us.
Big shout out to everybody in the building. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe, Madism, please, y'all. Got the teacher, the blast master in the building. We talking about hip hop.
Yeah. No, actually, you know what? It did go down 17%. It says it's charging though.
Okay.
But so we arrive now at me leaving home, and I'm around 16. I'm living in the street. I'm trying to survive. It's an exciting time for me. I'm getting knocked around. The weather's horrible. I'm eating out of the garbage, dumpsters. To this day, I love donuts because that was my staple food. It was an experience, my homelessness on the street, because also I left home for two reasons. One was to study philosophy and to be an MC. And I told my mother this. It was the MC part. And I was armed with what I had learned from her as a philosopher. So I was going out in the world. I said, no, first of all, I wanted to prove God real, to be honest. And it was an arrogant situation. I was like, I'm 16, you know? And so I'm like, nah, if all of this is real, I done studied Buddha, I done studied Hebrew, you know, all of this. And I'm just 16. And it's so anyway, I leave home and I start studying at the Brooklyn Public Library. I start looking at other things too, because the Brooklyn Public Library taught me how to look at architecture. And then I started looking at architecture around, like some of the architecture of Grand Army Plaza, and that led me deeper into mythology and why things are the way they are and what those pillars mean and the difference between a fluted column and a Doric column or Ionic column, you know, all of this type of stuff. So I started getting into that, and what it was that my mind, I started to see little things happen that I would place my mind on, and then it would happen. A lot of life and death stuff, like being safe at night, and because I had to sleep outside in the park, and it's almost a frightening situation to have to sleep outside, and to really go to sleep outside, you have to give up all fear. You have to give up all fear. You have to give your life over to a higher source if you're going to survive. Otherwise, you're not going to sleep. And a lot of homeless people, they don't sleep. A lot of them you see sleep in the daytime, where a lot of people are walking around because they're walking around all night. You're afraid to sleep. You can't sleep in that sense. So me, I was like, nah, I got to get to sleep because in the daytime, I'm using my day in that sense. So I would go to sleep, and it was one of my first trainings just to get rid of fear. In that sense, was that I had to sleep outside. It's called outside.
Is it called? Is it called? I wish a nigga would 101.
No, I didn't get to that part yet. Okay. It was God help me. Don't let nobody stab me while I'm asleep. That's what it was at the beginning. It was like, my God, like, can I get this night's sleep? And believe it or not, I went months sleeping in the street. Nobody harmed me. Nobody touched me. None of that. I didn't get stabbed, robbed, beaten. None of that. None of that. I slept in the street, slept outside. And it was my first inkling that, nah, something's guiding me. Something's over me. Something's that start putting my faith in that, start really moving. And really the enlightenment came, I'll jump ahead, is when I got to the 166th Street Boston Road Men's Shelter in the Bronx. Got up there, and when I got there, about 3 months later, Scott LaRock showed up as the social worker, Scott Sterling. He showed up as a social worker. Me and him had a kind of an argument at the beginning of our meeting because I'm the what is called the client in the shelter. I'm the homeless dude in the shelter who thinks all of these social workers are corrupt and basically just trying to hold people back. And they were. And here's Scott LaRock coming and saying, here you are, another black man failing in life. Here, you know, like, get out of here. And we shocked each other. It was like a shock because he quickly realized that I was no average homeless dude in the shelter. And he realized, and I realized he was not no social worker. This was not a social worker. This was a gig he was doing to pay ends, pay his rent, do what he had to do. But his love was hip hop, and I was out in the street for hip hop, and so we hooked up, and when we hooked up, and Scott invited me to my first club, the first time I was ever in a club, the first time I ever saw a club, the first time I didn't know it nothing. He said, just come down. I got you on the guest list. What? Guest list? What is a guest list? I was bummy, dirty. I went down to the club. You get there, everybody's gold, icy, leather bombers, goose bombers, Kangos, gazelles, beam Benzes everywhere. I show up, I'm wrinkled, torn up, smell like the shelter. I come up, yo, I'm on the guest list. They pushed me away. I had to come back. I had to say, Scott LaRock. Scott LaRock got me. He said, oh, Scott LaRock? He had a private guest list. I got in on my name. He got in. I walk in. The first people I see as I walk in, it's a crowded place. I'm going up. It's Broadway RT, Broadway Repertory Theater. It used to be called Broadway International. And those that know, you had to go up these stairs to the ballroom. I'm going up the stairs. Guess who's coming down the stairs? Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick.
Wow.
Together. Dougie's first and Slick Rick second. This is about 1985, going into 1986. Lottie Dottie and the show